we say that being a homosexual is a constitutional right. Before that, we said that slaughtering unborn babies was a constitutional right. And now we want to unveil a statue of Satan in the midst of that economically plagued city. Can you believe that? Where are we heading? Isn't this what is going to bring the judgment of God upon us? You say, could we possibly be serving idols? Could we be sacrificing our babies to some heathen god? Is there something that we're going to be having ritual sacrifice on the State House lawn of some state? Are we going to be allowing this to happen? And while we're doing it, we'll be having polygamy and polyamory and all the other things that go along with a corrupt culture. Is that the way we're heading? Well, it looks like it is.
No matter where you stand on this issue, it's one that's igniting passion on both sides.
You know, baffing it.
And then they should be shot right next to
Mary, Mother of Grace, rejoice with me. Blessed art thou amid Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. The world without end. Amen. You are safeguarding against the wickedness and snares of the devil. And God reveal you in holy grace. Do the peace of the strong power of God, casting it out Satan, all evil spirits.
I'm disturbed that Satanists are out protesting for something that our government is doing.
Take this gentleman to Suite 666.
They should be able to put the statue up, and then they should be shot right next to it.
You know, baffing it.
News for you. Destruction is coming our way.
What's going on, everyone? This is Bobby O, Punks for Progress. This is my first podcast, transmission, whatever you want to call it, so bear with me. First off, I want to thank Aaron, Mike, and Shannon for inviting me into the Punks for Progress family. It truly is an honor, and it's flattering to be counted amongst such intelligent, open-minded people that I respect fully. You know, I basically seen one of Aaron's videos on YouTube and was like, this dude is the fucking real deal. I gotta contact him and just let him know that, like, his voice has definitely been heard over here on the East Coast, and much respect. And we just started talking, and within a couple of weeks he was like, why don't you be like our East Coast delegate? And delegate, like, what is this, the Warriors? Yeah, you know, fucking, he asked me to be down, and like, I was just like, wow, yeah, you know, like, definitely. So, like, I hope I do the job justice. This is my first time ever being involved with something like this, doing a podcast or whatever. But yeah, you know, I got into like the hardcore punk and heavy metal scene back in the mid 80s. And I've been involved with it like on every level, from writing to bands and pen pals and handing out flyers to booking shows to playing in bands to touring all over. And yeah, you know, it was a big part of my life for a long time. And I grew up listening to a lot of bands that meant a lot to me. And one band that was definitely very important to me growing up was Indecision from Brooklyn. Now, they came around in like 93, and in 1993, hardcore was kind of getting away from punk and being more metal. I mean, the whole crossover thing in like the late 80s definitely had an impact on that. And, you know, in like the early 90s, bands were getting away from being political. You know, like there was a lot of like the tough guy hardcore bands that were coming out, and it was like, you know, Indecision was one band that, like, they stayed with the focus on social justice and human rights, environmentalism, individuality. They were against drugs and alcohol and promiscuous sex. I mean, I was never down with that straight edge shit, but I always respected people that were. But yeah, you know, like, Indecision was definitely a band that embodied the DIY spirit of punk rock. I mean, their guitarist Justin had a printing press in his basement, and they fucking printed up their own 7-inches. They made their own screens and printed up their own t-shirts. They packed it all in a van and took it all over the fucking country. They were in like fucking something like 20 different countries, like overseas, you know, like, and they were all doing this when they were like in their late teens, early 20s, going to college, getting like bachelor's and master's degrees. You know, like, they were volunteering at homeless shelters. They were like volunteering at like no-kill shelters, helping animals. You know, they definitely lived it. You know, and like, in fact, their guitarist Justin Brandon now is a city councilman in Brooklyn. You know, and like his platform includes like a promise to build like a new public school over the next 4 years, improve public transportation, which is desperately needed in New York City, and he wants to expand eviction protection for the elderly. I mean, all kinds of like really like important stuff. You know, I mean, Indecision broke up in 2000, and like some of them became Most Precious Blood, and then they broke up after a couple of years. But every once in a while, Indecision pops off and does a reunion. So the first video I want to show you guys is from one of Indecision's reunion shows. Check it out.
10 years ago, in this slum outside the Union Carbide factory at Bhopal, I was sickened by the stench of rotten flesh. But what made me sick of heart was the knowledge that this disaster had been caused by industrialists who put costs before caution, and politicians who put power before principle. And what have I seen in the last 10 years? Industrialists trying to wriggle out of their responsibility, politicians who treated the gas victims as their pawns, the rich nations of the world shedding crocodile tears and then getting on with business as usual.